Hi guys, welcome back to yet another episode of the Make It Easy podcast. My name is Shalomeni. Guys, it has been a very long, well, not really long, about 3 weeks. Yeah, we have been missing in action for 3 weeks, of course, in light of everything that was happening in our country. So yeah, let's just keep on praying for the best and of course praying for our country. And yeah, so we are back to business. Another Friday definitely means another episode. And you guys, the feedback that you are giving on the episode you did with Purity about finances, wow. I think I need to call her back for a part 2 because wow, the feedback was so overwhelming. And thank you guys for interacting with my content as always. So today, like every other Friday, we have another guest and we'll be talking about graceful grit. So I'll welcome her and she'll help us unpack what graceful grit is all about and what it really means. Hi.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
Whew.
How are you feeling?
Niko tu vibes.
Uko tu vibes.
Niko tu vibes, really.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Make It Easy. This
Thanks.
is Make It Easy
Yeah.
podcast.
Mm.
How are you feeling?
I am okay. I think it's been a minute. So Niko tu
Still
Nikana
adjusting.
adjust. Yeah, but I'm so happy to be here. It's such a pleasure to be still fit to sit and have a conversation with you. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if this is the part where I introduce myself. Okay.
This part.
So my name is Mutheu. I am just a girl who's very young. So if you're looking at this episode thinking that I have all the chumvi, I don't. Niko na kadogo. But yeah, I am a student. I am what else? I'm a child of the kingdom of God. I am born again. I'm a full-time ministry worker, and I am also a podcaster. Yeah, pretty much. A couple of other things might pop up, but yeah, that's me for now.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's deep dive
All
into
right.
our conversation.
Being it on.
Graceful grits.
Ooh.
Tebu kwanza, what do you understand by that?
Graceful greed. I feel like when you sent me like the question sheet, I was like, what's this about? I don't know what I was expecting. But then like just to throw it out there, I feel like this conversation is going to be very timely for me. Like I feel like first before talking to anyone else, I'm also like speaking to
Telling
myself.
yourself, yeah.
Yeah, but my graceful greed. You remember how when in high school these people from Safaricom used to come visit with greed. Then they used to say greatness requires internal toughness. So I thought about that. And indeed, grit is like actually having internal toughness to go after the things you want or to like bounce back from certain things. And now graceful, I think, is like a spark of kindness and grace towards yourself, even in the process of being grateful or gritty rather. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think there's a balance between being graceful to yourself and now being gritty? Because we have to do all of these things. We can't just be graceful to ourselves. Yeah.
24/7.
So, any connection you feel between being graceful, or rather, what is this? Do you, at the top of your head, do you have this one time where you remember that this point I was going through this, but I really had to.
Yeah. I feel like you can be gritty and still be grateful. I mean, graceful. Well,
yeah.
and also grateful as well, but graceful because that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
In a sense where, regardless of whatever toughness it is you're going through, you still allow yourself room to be human, like room to be mundane. If you're sad, you're sad. If you're frustrated, you're frustrated. If you're hurt, you're hurt. If you're tired to not continue anymore, that's okay. It's realizing that even if this is a journey, you can take a pit stop here, relax, breathe, and continue with whatever gritty journey you need to go on. So yeah, there's definitely one cannot exist without the other. Because now if either exists without the other, then rather if you're too graceful without being resilient, and if you're too resilient without being graceful, then I think it becomes now a problem. So both of them need to like coexist according to my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you know that you're striking a balance? Because I feel most of us really struggle to be graceful to ourselves because we want, yes, we are going after these things, this thing, maybe career or education or anything. But then now you forget that you're also a human being. You're just a human being, you know, and you need to extend some grace to yourself. Because most of us are usually so hard on ourselves. Like, you want to accomplish this thing, you want to do this thing, you're not even giving yourself chance to, you know, breathe and just take it all in fast.
Yeah.
So how do you like strike the balance
between both? Being resilient is wonderful. Like, being resilient is something everyone feels like they deserve a trophy for.
Yeah,
and
we all deserve a trophy for that.
But now I feel like it's a bit overhyped. You get, like, there's a trophy for resilience, but there's no trophy for grace.
Yeah.
You get, like, often than not, it's like, she made it, she survived, that's it. She actually tried to give herself this. It's like, oh, good for you. And that's why I think other people say millennials are thriving off thinking that resilience is a trophy. Why? Because it was a bit too much. Think about the things.
It was overhyped.
Yeah, like, think about the things some of our parents even seen put up with. I'm like, see must. Honestly,
it's too much.
See must. And I think now that see must is what grace is. Like, when you must. See, what's the worst that could happen, honestly? So now I think, what was my chain thought going with this? Oh yeah. So now I think that either, like, as I said in the beginning, a bit of either is a bit unhealthy, in the sense that sometimes being too graceful can look like self-loathing too much, can look like learned helplessness, can look like, I don't even want to make an effort to get out of this pit, you know, in the name of I'm being gracious. And if you've, like, done psychology before, you know that learned helplessness is that something continuously happens to you. So you get to a point where you've tried everything. You're like, honestly, this is my life.
You feel like this is where you belong.
Yeah. So now it takes away the ability to want to push through that thing. So you see, you will keep on saying, I'm giving myself grace because I've been through it. But are you really giving yourself grace, or have you given up?
Okay.
You get?
Yeah.
So now I think striking a balance between both is you being able to see yourself, sit, readjust, pick up your pieces, dust yourself, and move. If there's no balance of both, you will either sit or keep on pushing. Then you get to the end, you realize, gosh, I'm so tired, or I'm so broken. Kidogo, you're even in a pit that is deeper than the pit you would have been in if you just took time to be gracious with yourself. So yeah, I think that's my 2 cents.
That you don't have to be either too graceful, because now there's being graceful and being gritty. Because I think I know at the top of my head people who, yes, they know they have tried this, it's not working, and it may feel like they're giving themselves grace, but in real sense, you've just given up. You've just said, this is it. Okay, let me stay here. Let me stay here.
Yeah.
And now this is to make sure most people are more awakened to the fact that being graceful does not mean that you give up on achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. Because being graceful really means just take a break.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to be done, you know, like stop, breathe, readjust, and then move on.
But even more than a break, I think grace can also look like, it's okay, you're doing great. It's okay.
It's the small steps,
like, it's okay. Ata kama hujapata the entire full, look at this half. What can we do with this half? Because I think
like the concept of, a glass half empty,
glass full.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it also means being extremely kind to yourself in whatever situation you're in. Don't be the one that beats yourself up. Don't be the one that is 100% negative with the situation that's happening around you. So even just beyond people thinking grace is rest, I think it's also how you handle yourself in that situation or in that thing that needs you to be to have internal toughness. I think it's also saying, by the way, when you choka, and you know, I feel like sometimes people think it's such a nice thing to be a survivor of something, but it's not.
It's not, yeah.
Because before the survivor, you are a victim. And I think, honestly, the victim deserves more kudra than the survivor. Because before we're able to see you steeplechase, you've been through so much hapa katikati NSCC, we've not been able to see.
Yeah.
So often than not, we see all these big people who are like, yeah, I did it, I made it. But if we actually sit down with them in a place where it's just you and them, owners are quite like, wow.
Tough.
Bro, that is a lot. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think just this thought has made me remember one of the episodes I did like last season, I was talking about celebrating small wins are wins too.
Yeah.
And now being graceful means every small win is a win, because
It's a
now we are
win.
so focused on the big picture
Yeah.
that these small achievements that you keep on getting don't mean anything. You're just so focused on like this I don't know, whatever a win looks like to you. So what are your thoughts on celebrating the wins as they come, and how important are they? How important is it to celebrate those wins?
Again, as we were starting, or rather, as you've noticed, I'm confusing graceful and grateful.
And,
but I feel like all these 3Gs are so important.
Yeah, graceful.
Like when you're gritty, I think you could go so far if you have grace and grit, like a heart of gratitude. Because when you have a heart of gratitude, it's so easy to say, today was the way it was, but at least I'm not sick. Today was the way it was, but at least atakama I didn't like penya. I've done 1, 2, 3. Like a heart of gratitude helps you spot the 2 small things you can dismiss so quickly. Like the 2 small things that could actually show you, in as much as things are not moving, they're actually moving. Because sasa ata like a good example is when you are steeple chasing from a process of healing from like a chunk of like mental health issues, every day feels the same, Shalom.
Like I'm not moving.
Like
I'm still in
every
the same place.
day feels the same. You have zero energy to get out of bed. You have zero energy to shower. You have zero energy to even text, even call. Like you see a call, uko like, wa sasa uwe nani amemtuma. Exactly. But the beauty about all this is, one thing is always better than the other every day. I may not be able to get out of bed today, but at least I can pick up my call. I may not be able to shower tomorrow, but at least I can make my bed. You know, like every day, something shifts. And so if you focus on the bigger picture of getting better eventually, you will forget that once you could never get out of bed, now you can. You forget that once you could never associate yourself with people, now you can. Forget that once you never let people in, right now you trust at least one person. So every single thing is like a puzzle. The more little it is, it forms a bigger picture. If you focus on the entire puzzle, utachizi. Lazima ushinde umetafuta the next piece for the entire stack of puzzles. So yeah, I think that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like most young people, we feel like we want to figure it out, or we feel like we know how to figure it out minus God. So what are your sense? What do you think about? Yes, I'm being graceful to myself. Yes, I am being gritty, but I also need God in the middle of this thing, because it can be exhausting. It can be really exhausting. So what do you think, or what is your sense about having God as part of the picture?
So I'd say, I think I keep on telling most people that I've interacted with on a personal level that I think therapy and healing didn't make sense to me before God. You get? There's something about doing it with God that made a bit more sense. Before, I think it was just because you know something is wrong, but you can't like
put a finger
on it. You know something is wrong. And I think the beauty of now actually even going through that healing journey with God is you'll go sob to the Father and you'll actually realize, oh, this is the problem. I'm feeling so unloved today. Why? Because in that moment when you've gone and sat with Jesus, you felt so loved. So it's fixed the gap that was there. Which is why I think that every journey set without someone greater than us to help us is a bit, you don't know. You don't know at the end of the day, because only the one person who like created us is able to paint that picture for you. Hence why you'll know this was God's original design for me. What does this look like? It looks like this career. It looks like this husband. It looks like this friends. It looks like this lifestyle. Because all these things all pan out to the original design that God created you with. And unless you have a personal relationship with God, then you will never be able to figure out why exactly you're here. Because I don't think you are just randomly picky ponkid and like, said, Shalom,
on earth.
Shuka wewe ndo unaenda earth sasa. I don't think that's what happened. I feel like God sits on his throne and he's like, I want to do this and this and this, but because I am God, I'm unable to do these things, and that's why I need people on earth to do certain things or to accomplish certain purposes. I cannot as God because of his position as God. That's just my 2 cents. So I think if now, hata ni kama pia, let me use a very good analogy. Ukinunua kitu, na hujui na function hata unakose kusoma manual utaishi hapo.
We'll try to
Utaishi hapo trying to figure out where goes what and what goes here, and sometimes it's so frustrating because these things are there but you don't know what to do with them. And that's like the same at all. You don't expect yourself to be at peace and at comfort if you don't have God helping you. If you don't have someone else steering the wheel for you. Like it's just like how people chill when someone is driving your car. I don't
Passenger
walk or two,
princess.
please. Let me sleep in my car. Let me sip some juice.
Yeah.
But I don't try and drive. And that's it. And I keep on thinking about this someone Nyawira preached one day at K Crew. And she was saying that, remember how these disciples went with Jesus on the sea, and then kukakuwa na turbulence na nini nini, and this guy started freaking out.
And Jesus was sleeping.
Then they're just freaking out. They're like, boss, tuna sink. It is stormy tatumeza. And I remember what Nyawira said was so crazy because they had never looked at it like that. But they were panicking when the calm of storms was with them in the boat. And he was asleep, you get? Because Jesus was just basically chilling. He's like, Nini says he do. Nini says he do. And she'll say, that's us every day. We're panicking, we feel like it's the end of the world. But the one person who can calm them in a snap of a second, he's just like, yeah. You just need to whisper a prayer and say, boss, I don't know what's going on. Amka. And I was like, that makes so many much
times.
sense.
So many times you get anxious.
Exactly.
Sharp panic, and we are with God, we are with Jesus in that boat. But we have not realized. Exactly. I think these guys, the disciples, had for a minute forgotten that Jesus was
this is
there.
this is Jesus. Like the things Jesus can do. I have a friend who I call in the midst of chaos, and I think this girl for me is one of the most epitome of someone who has faith. Like I keep on saying, I don't know anyone who moves in faith like Sasha. She's called Sasha. Sasha functions in faith I've never witnessed. And she'll almost ask you, Kwani Megan, for this thing to bother you, how mediocre do you think your God is? And in that moment, I'm like,
my God is not mediocre, so
I need to check myself. Because any of it is thinking that where we pass through God, ever think about it. You're joking. So I think definitely, if you don't work with Christ, it causes frustration, because I'm not sure if it's in the Bible, if it's a thing people say, but the things of God come with peace. Like the things that God has orchestrated and commanded, they align and they come with so much peace. You never have to like question it.
I've remembered I think it happened to me. It happened to me on Monday, and I think I've shared this story, so someone may relate to it. So on Monday, I was going to town. So there's this road that I live along Thika Road. Now I'm saying where I live. I live along Thika Road. So it was in the morning, up like 7:30. So this driver decides today we're not using this normal route that we use. So he uses another completely different route. Now, uko sides are Sidri, Gikomba, what's that place called? Some place, but not Thika Road. So in my mind, I'm thinking, what's wrong with this driver? You know, because this is the route that I use. This is the route that I know. You know, why are you passing this other route? So I'm there so angry and frustrated at this driver. Tunapita huko, tunapita. At this point, I was supposed to be where I'm going by 8. So I'm so angry because naona time inaenda. Tumepita nje yenye sijui. It's very unfamiliar. First of all, why are you passing an unfamiliar route? So tunapita. He finds a way to connect through Ngara. So he gets to Ngara and then he joins now Sasa Thika Road. And then I'm looking at you barabara yenye tumejoin. It had like a lot of traffic. So I'm saying, wait a minute. Ningekuwa kwa hii traffic, singekuwa nimefika this point. So this driver actually knew that this road has traffic. So let me pass this route and get where we're going faster. So at that point, I was like, you know, sometimes this is us with God. We feel like we have really cornered God to know, God, this is what I want you to do for me. For example, yes, we want to be graceful to ourselves. Yes, we want God to be with us to that point. But you know what we want God to make the grace feel like. I want God, your grace, to feel like this and this type of way. But God is saying, no, we are changing our route. We are changing a whole different route. And at that point, you're feeling like, oh my God, what is this, God? What is this? But God is telling you, you can't see it. Because that driver probably aliangalia maps or maybe in his intuition, and he knew hii barabara iko na traffic. But so many times you get so angry at God. Like, God, I know. He knows. And he's trying to save us from a lot, but we can't see it. So sometimes we just need to get to a point where you tell God, God, I surrender. I know I want to
Yeah.
be graceful to myself. I know I want to be gritty, but God, you just do your will, you know.
Yeah.
And this is very hard for us because young people or human
We have
beings,
our lives mapped out.
we want to do this. I want at this point, I want to get
graduation by 24. I want to be
a job. I want to get
this,
married.
kids.
But God is telling you, pause.
Yeah.
This is what I want you to do. This is the kind of route I want you to follow.
Yeah.
So it calls for a point, and I think this is one thing that Mumi, when we were having our third episode, we're talking about surrender. That in this journey of faith and just living life, you need to surrender, and surrendering to God. So
Yeah.
it was very introspective.
I feel like at the end of the day, you can't ask God for what you want, because even the Lord's Prayer says, "Your will be done on
Your
earth
will, not
as
mine."
it is in heaven." At the end of the day, because I keep on telling, so how people have their lives mapped out and they're telling God, "Me, this is what I
Saying
want."
you and me.
Me sasa personally, that scares me. So I keep on telling God, hata kama hino nataka, na unajua vizuri si yangu, shoot it. Like I don't think you can kill it.
And those prayers,
that
God answers them like quick, fast. Like God, the prayers that I think I saw a meme that someone is praying at God, if this person is not for me, take them away.
Every other prayer might delay, but that specific
faster. God is like,
you wake up
Gabriel,
the next day,
pale.
and then you're like, what's happening?
And then you remember but I think this is God just saving us. We cannot see it. At that point, you don't really see it.
Yeah.
But God is so merciful and gracious, and He knows what you need, even if you don't know what you don't.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you, at the top of your head, do you remember a time where you felt like you were not giving yourself grace, and how did you handle it?
Girl.
How did you handle it?
We try not to be funny. You poke to like lazima to chimney.
Lazima.
Wow. Obviously a lot. So many times. And I think we have learned. I've always been such a brand ambassador for, babe, it's fine, give yourself grace. Personally, I'm just
why is it not working?
Myself. Yeah. So I think very recently I was even telling my person, okay, I can't working on a public platform. But I was talking to my person, I was telling him that I recently learned there's something called explanatory style. And this is basically how you explain a situation to yourself. So however you explain a situation to yourself also kind of influences how you're going to deal with it, like how you're going to cope with it. So if, for instance, I go try out a job and I don't get it, and I tell myself, it's because you're unworthy, or it's because you're not good enough, that's how I'm always going to perceive that. Now, that's the thing with now, that's going to give an outcome of what I'm always going to consistently think I'm not worthy. Opportunities will come around, and I'm going to think, it's not for me, and I won't even try them out. So now, flip side is, if you explain something to yourself in a way that's more gracious or more positive, it's completely different. Like, you lost a job, cool, redirection, the Lord wanted it, especially if you're led by God. You're like, if that man sat on that throne and decided that this is how it's gonna go, then it's not in vain. Let it be. My mental health journey, and I think, I think you learn along the way. Like, I don't think you ever find like a definitive solution. Like, you just learn and navigate along the way. It's been fully understanding of the fact that you can have high highs and low lows. So
when you mean low lows, it's literally low lows.
When I mean low, it's low low. Like, I was telling one of my friends lately that this season I've really been in the gutters. I've been struggling so much. And I was telling them, I think the last time I felt like this was kitambo. Because I think from like last year's like June to like kitu kama hapo April, May, nilikuwa sawa. Like, I was living life, I was happy, I was serving so great. Like, I was just in a really unfamiliar space that I hadn't known previously. But it was a good unfamiliar space because it was a lot of happiness. I felt like a lot of healing was happening. Then I had such an absolute amazing therapist that I love with my heart. But I feel like people think therapy is cute, which it is. It's so cute and aesthetic and so nice and whatever. But you keep on digging. So this season I've been in right now, I'm dealing with a lot of suppressed emotions that have been suppressed for years. So sometimes I'm just crying, and you will ask me, and I genuinely don't know what to tell you. And it's not just like crying. It's a proper breakdown. Like, ile enyewe hata unaniurumia. Mom continuously asks me, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. My boyfriend will ask what's wrong. I'm like, I don't know. My best friend will ask what's wrong. I don't know. And eventually this can get to you because even you're feeling like a burden. Because everyone wants to help you, but you don't know how you can even be helped. Because Missy G, Nalia probably just suppressed emotion in 2016. Sijui, sometimes
don't
I
even understand, yeah.
Exactly. So Grace for me this season has been allowing myself to go through whatever it is I need to go through. If I need to sit in the basement for a few days, I'ma do that. If I need to remind myself that in spite of why a lot of people actually who struggle feel like burdens is because everyone is continuously asking you what's wrong. You either don't know or it's the same thing. You get it's like the same thing, and then people place this expectation on you that if I ask you today, you should be better tomorrow. You get? And so even you sometimes you can place that expectation on yourself. Kama nilikuwa nasikia hivi last week, why nasikia hivyo saa hizi? So what happens is utaanza ku move your process faster. And that's not how it's supposed to be. So what it looks like for me is, despite and in spite what everyone thinks, me, I'm sitting here. This is how I feel. This is the amount of time I need, and that's fine. So I think right now I've hacked it. I'm able to. You've seen that TikTok for when my small self and myself feel like it's a rest. We need cool. You want shopping? Okay. You want ice cream? Let's go. It's just being able to allow yourself to. What to come man? Just be human. Imagine it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel like huna hata motivation ya class. Kama hii semester nime struggle. Me nakwambia semester ndio inaisha. Exam season is in 3 weeks shalom, and I don't know what I've been doing in school this semester. Not because of anything. Previously, probably ningekuwa na anxiety na anxiousness because I don't know what I'm going to do for exams. But I've been able to understand for the past few months since we started school, I've been in a very crazy state of adjustment. Adjustment to the fact that I moved out and I'm living by myself. Adjustment to the fact that I'm in like a season, I'm in therapy, I'm sitting with very dark things I was unable to before. Like right now I'm able to say some things I could previously not say. And the repercussions for having pent up things is one way or the other. Lazima utoe moja. Unikama ukipata vitu kwa closet ukiclean up. Lazima utoe uangalie uanalyze kama unataka kupeana ama unataka kushikilia. And that's like a process I've been in. So yeah, I think just allow yourself. I said sometimes I don't even have words to tell Jesus. I sit and I'm just crying. I'm like, you can read my heart.
This is
so
it.
Like, no,
I can't verbalize it.
So yeah, I just say sit for as long as you need to. But the catch is, A, don't sit alone, and B, don't sit for too long. Don't sit for too long. So sometimes when I have like long episodes, I try to do small things. So if Monday to Wednesday nimeshinda kwa kitanda, kesho sitakaa kwa kitanda, ati nikae kwa floor. Like slowly start getting yourself out of that space. If jana ulishindwa kuoga, leo hata kama utaga like full-fledged passport or something, or just do skincare, small things to get you out of the space you're in.
And do you think, like reflecting on your journey, do you think it gets easier with friends or family, or rather what role do you think they play in your journey of being graceful to yourself?
Community is definitely important. I mean, no one man is above.
Island, yeah.
And I think people sometimes, because I think like a space where I understand grace from is from my experiences, from my journey. And if God himself had 12 disciples, who are you?
To stay alone.
Who are you? Jesus had 12 disciples. And I think for me, my mother especially, that one is she's my ride or die, really. I feel like there's a song that normally plays on Instagram. It's like, when God made you my mother, or something like that. And I think I resonate with. You've not had it? I'll play it for you after this. But I resonated with it a lot because I think my mom was just built for me. If I had another mother, I don't think I would have survived what life has looked like for me. Friends especially. And I think I always keep on referring to something Jackie Hill Perry said. And she said, you have to surround yourself with people who are graced to handle you. Please note, I said graced.
And to handle you.
And to handle you. When you're graced to handle someone, regardless of whatever season they're in, you can do it. Then if the sole reason why I'm friends with, for example, say my friend Ruby, goes beyond the fact that I just like that she likes pink and I like pink and we're just girls together, it needs to go down to a point of do I feel like God has sent me into this person's life? Why? Because if that's how I feel, and I feel like I'm graced to handle Ruby, then nothing is too much for me that's coming from her. I can sit with her in the mud. And I think people think that you having community means you have to tell them what's going on, but that's not it. You just need people to shelter you, to cover you. Come out in your world right now, it's cold. You just need someone to give you a jacket. That way, that's it's a core memory. You feel like you're loved, you're seen. And that's why I think so many people are like, I didn't even want to say anything to anyone to hug me. So I feel like community and friends for me is so core. That's why I think I love the way I love my friends, because there are people who've literally had nothing to say to me and just come to my room and cried with me. There are people who literally even know what to say, but are still on calls with me till I fell asleep because I couldn't sleep. So yeah, for me, I don't know what I do without community. Like, I think I owe so much community. The ones who've been there certain seasons and left, I'm still grateful. The ones who've what's the word? What's the word? Oh, I think often we think that people can be graced forever. But the thing with grace also is it's grace serves certain
For a
seasons.
certain season.
Grace serves certain purposes.
Okay.
Na hiyo grace hiyo season ikisha imeisha. So hence why I'm saying even the people who've been graced for certain seasons were for lifers. Like ni sawa, woli serve your purpose na ukaondoka. So the thing is, graced for your friends, graced for your life, graced for seasons you're in, and there are obviously people who are graced for you every day. But probably ni kama mmoja wawili. But yeah, it's I think really important to also have friends who affirm you, friends who constantly pour into your cup, and then because pia kuna saa zingine me probably I'm not able to be that tender with myself. Yeah. So either your partner or your friend should be able to sort of like be that for you. So yeah, I think it's quite important for community and friends to be involved.
And I think that is, whatever you said is so profound, that we have friends or communities for a certain season. And that does not demean the fact that because you have not been in this whole season of mine, that you're not helpful.
Or like you're a bad friend.
You're not a bad friend.
Or that when it's late.
You are my good friend, or you are good for that particular time. But if your time is over, peace, thank you, it was good. But I think right now we need to morph into different, just get to know different people who will help you in different seasons. And also something that has also come into my head just as you were speaking is that we need to be, you said that, like one thing that you said about Jackie Hill Perry, there are people graced specifically for you. So this is also to tell you, don't be dumping your emotions to everyone in the name of being me. I'm being graceful to myself, and you're exhausting people. Not everyone is supposed to be in this like time or to know everything that is happening, because some people get the reason why most people get tired is because, like, Megan, I come today, you just asked me how you're doing. You've not even, I think this one I heard from Janet Mbugwa. One of her videos, she was saying that she has learned to ask her friends, when she's talking to her friends, are you ready to process this? Because most of us, something is happening in my life, I'll just come and dump it all on you, and then you also have your things that you're dealing with. So I'll be expecting that you react in a certain way, or you be there for me in a certain way, but you're not even in that mental capacity to be able to be there for me. So this is also to make people realize that know who you need in whatever season of your life.
I think it's called compatibilizing friends. In a sense where you place people in categories. And that's okay. People say, oh, you can't categorize people, but I think you really need to categorize people. So that usipem to a level 4 expectations are level 1. And over time, why you need to compatibilize people is so that you also notice a shift in dynamic. Because kuna mtu labda in this season ni level 1, na next season lazima mweke level 4. Inacho lazima ishine ime fluctuate. But I saw this TikTok that said, I think trauma dumping is such a wrong word because it takes away someone's ability to be vulnerable with you. Like, someone has found it in them to trust you. So I think instead of it being like a trauma dumping thing, then now what Janet was saying is ask first. Or even you on the other side who you're feeling like you're being trauma dumped on, pia we sema,
stop. Most people will be like, just bring it on. You're not even saying, at that time, like, this is so overwhelming. You're telling me things that I'm like, guys, Santa do.
Yeah.
You know, just be able to vocalize whatever you have in your head.
Yeah.
So, as we start to wind up, if you were to go back in time,
hey girl, I was just chilling.
If you were to go back in time, how would you handle a situation whereby you were not graceful to yourself? How would you handle it differently?
So like a difficult situation, like how I would handle difficult situation.
How if let me rephrase it. If you're to go back in time, how differently would you handle the way you handled yourself in situations where you are not being graceful to yourself?
Girl, I've made some mistakes. So many mistakes. So many mistakes. Especially in spaces where I probably had to like grieve people, grieve friendships, grieve attachments. I've made some crazy, pretty mistakes. And so I think I'd say I don't think I've always had a problem with being gracious to myself personally as much. I just think I did it a bit too much, like the grace part. So recently, I think I was either thinking or journaling, and I realized one thing about myself, because someone did mention to me that they feel like it's a whole story. Let's just focus on what I was gonna say.
Okay.
But someone did say that they feel like when I love, it's like I'm overcompensating for something. And it was a greasy, messy thing that I don't want to touch on. But I start with that. The entire voice note, I start with that part.
Yeah.
And I start with it, and I was thinking, and I was asking God for. And then I realized I genuinely do overcompensate with so many things, even with like previous difficult situations. I realized that the reason why I was able to step out in resilience is because I feel like if you take away this chunk of things I've been through, I don't know if you can see me and love me. You get? So I feel like my trauma and like my issues are a reason I can give people to love me. Because I feel like without a tangible reason for you to love me, you can't
You won't
stay.
be able to
You
stay,
get?
yeah.
So it hit me and I was like, God damn. And it's those convictions that you're like, Sasa, actually, umetoka wapi? But I started and I really started with myself and I was like, I think I've been a victim for too long. I can't take away the fact that the things I've been through have been utterly painful and utterly life transforming. But also I've been a victim for a long, Shalom. I've been a victim for like 10 years plus. Why? Because I don't know if I take away this identity, I don't know what's on the other side of healing. You get, like, I don't know if I want to find out. And sometimes I used to feel like if I tell you a bit of it, you feel wishy and just, want to be there for me. So I realized, there's that. And then number two is, I think I also love in ways that overcompensate for the fact that I feel like you can't stay.
Because
like for me, love feels transactional. I have to give. And without me giving, there's nothing. And I was like, it's not such a bad thing to love and to be a very good person to people, but it can be too much to an extent. If then you're not loving because you want to love, you're loving because you feel like you wanna like keep someone there attached to you. So a couple of things that I do differently now stem from these things I've shared with you. I think I wouldn't be so caught up in that victim mentality for too long. Like I would allow myself to feel, process, and steeplechase without feeling like I have to forever be a victim. I have to forever speak from the perspective of my issues and not from the perspective of a healed person.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I would unlearn helplessness. Because I think for me, certain things happened so many times. Kazoea. So I kept on allowing it. And then nikata kuifight. I'm just like, this is evil too. Inafanyika tena, I'm like, I knew it. So that's also something I would unlearn. I think I would allow myself to be like, these things happened, wasn't your mistake, wasn't your fault. And because they keep on happening, it doesn't mean it's your future. It doesn't mean it defines you. You can actually bounce back from this. Yeah, and number three, I think I would just let people in more. And I would also let Jesus in more.
Yeah,
I would bring Jesus more. Because I'm like, I feel like my journey for like the 1 year, I celebrated 1 year, by the way.
Oh, yeah, so congratulations.
I was so happy. But in that 1 year, I feel like I've been learning to see myself.
You guys don't know 1 year to what?
Oh, 1 year since I said the yes to the Lord Jesus.
For context,
it's been such a beautiful journey. And I think it's enabled me to see myself through the lenses of God. It's enabled me to see myself as someone that can conquer, someone that can steeplechase. And I kept on thinking even about how Esther was Esther despite being an orphan. Because I think sometimes the Bible tells us all these things about all these people, but I like to think about it from an emotional place. Like, of course, Esther was not the happiest. Of course, Esther was probably always asking herself, where are my parents? What if my parents are here, things could be different. You know, I think about someone like Joseph. I don't expect it to be so easy for a teenager to be sold to someone they don't know. Then you're going to be a slave. Like, I like to think about it like, tuongea na Joseph sahi. Joseph ananiambia nini. I think about these things, but I'm like, you see, at the end of it all, even for Esther to say something like, if I die, I die. Just because they're learning to trust in the fact that wherever like God is taking them is a bit more greater than the hole they're in right now. You get? And I keep on thinking, as the fact that Joseph was thrown into a hole and then taken from a hole and taken to Egypt is so symbolic, because that was the start of his journey. You know, like I keep on thinking is the fact that there was a hole and he was thrown into a hole.
And it was so important for him to be there.
Exactly. So I mean, those are things I do differently for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think young people or we can support each other? For example, I'm trying to be graceful to myself. I'm trying to just be gritty. How do you think we can be of support to each other?
Support to each other.
Yeah.
I think support looks like everything physical, everything emotional, everything present. Like, okay, you want to go on this journey. What can I do? Can I help contribute? Can I brainstorm with you? Can I changa for you if I can? Can I, if you're looking to, even moving out is a step, banner. Like, if you're looking, can I go house hunt with you? I think it also looks like, cool, you've lost your job. How can I be there for you? You know, I think at the end of the day, I realize people don't expect so much when they need support. Like they just want to know, as long as Shannon is here, cool. As long as Sasha is praying for me, perfect. As long as this and this and this is what is happening, because like one of my close friends is called Shalom Gatiri.
Shalom.
So I'm pretty sure she's probably going to listen to this, and then she's like, "Is this girl talking about me this whole time?" No, I wasn't talking about it. I'm not that obsessed. But yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. Understand. Also, again, understand your place and your season in someone's life, because when you do, I'm able to understand this is where
what
Shalom is at.
What role do I
What
play?
am I gonna do? Yeah. So I think it's also two-sided. In as much as people need to be graced for you, you also need to be graced for someone.
Yeah. Because most people expect to
it to be
receive
one
the
way,
grace, but you're not
giving it out. So if in this very season when you are close, I need to be able to be so intertwined with you to even intercede and know nafanya nini udem. Because in my own mundane self, nitakutwa part in ways that maybe don't make sense to you. But I think also just holding the hand of your sister or brother spiritually, not even living aside the men, because this always feels like a sisterhood, the girl association, even those guy friends you have, ni girlfriend or in Qatar or something, reach out. And all those things always seem so small, but I feel like guys umia tu chini ya maji, they're just like hata sikusikia vibaya, but really, so I think to whatever degree, again, on top of the things that I've mentioned, that God leads you, perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, that was. Whew. I think we're done. I think we are done. We are actually done.
Oh, jeez.
So, what will be your parting shots?
Parting shot.
And especially to someone who is going through that stage and they're feeling, Aki, I think Megan and Shalom are talking about me. I'm in this place. I feel I'm not giving myself the grace that I need to give myself, or maybe the people around me. Though I feel like I'm dumping, emotional dumping, you know. So just talk to that one person who probably feels like this is for them.
I think I keep on referencing everything back. Like, I saw this tweet that said, "You all are such my man, girls." Oh my god.
My god.
Literally. Yeah, but I think going back to that point, I'd say, if the Lord of all hosts, if the person that is in charge of everything can be gracious with you, why can't you be gracious with yourself?
Yeah.
You know, like if God has seen everything and anything that you have done, and He still says, "Come come to
Come
the
as you
altar,
are.
come as you are. And he doesn't even care. He just wants you to come. Hata kwa mii, asiye kutoka nje ya mlango alafu uingie. He's just
Hivyo
like,
tu vile
come.
uko.
So if he can do that, I think you can find it in yourself to also do that to yourself. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be like a one-shot thing? No. And I think it's something you have to continuously give grace to yourself. Yeah, because even the Bible tells us that there's no more condemnation. Hata kama ni the fact that you're still feeling like you're creeping back to like a life of sin, give yourself grace. Like, mamangu kishindo kikimbia kwa God kila saa. Hata kama nikimbia, eventually even you get so exhausted of running, you just be like, sawa, let me let go of this thing. As for what? As for the part for emotional dumping, in short, the whole connection friendships thing, pray for people who are grace for you, and also pray to identify who you need to. Not exactly. I'm not the biggest advocate for cut off, but like who do you need to teremsha? Who do you need to leta chini? Who do you need to downplay, and stuff like that. And yeah, last but not least, I'm just like go. Enda tu kwa baba. Mimi na Shalom tunaweza kuwa hatujui hizi vitu.
Tunaweza kuwa tujui, we don't know.
Just run back to the Father, continually pray. Yeah. And I think people think pray needs to be like 60 minutes. And it can just be something, as I mean, I'm a special someone tells me, when you can't pray, Lord's Prayer, because why is it there? The grace, why is it there? All these are types of prayers that you can utter to the Lord either way. So yeah, just, it's so cliche. I speak so cliche, but I think it gets better. It actually, I can actually attest it gets better. If you just keep on being patient. If Job could do it, and he lost everything, if Job could do it, anyone can do it, really. Yeah, pretty much so.
And also, I love what you've said. The beauty about God is that He restores.
Yeah.
He restores the ears. The Bible says that He restores the ears that the cankerworms and cattles have eaten. So even for you in this stage, God, when you go back to God and when you run back to Him, He is able to restore each and everything that you feel like you have lost. So we're done. Yeah. Thank you for coming. It was such a wonderful episode. So make sure you like, subscribe, share. See you next Friday. Bye.